If you're over 60, this message is for you. Your legs are the first place your body begins to decline, and most men don't realize it until the change is impossible to ignore. One day, you're climbing stairs without thinking. A few years later, you're gripping the railing, measuring each step, quietly hoping your knee doesn't give out. That shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens silently, gradually, at a rate of 1 to 3% muscle loss per year after 60. Every year you wait, that loss compounds. Strength fades, balance weakens, confidence follows. Here's the truth. The difference between moving freely at 75 and fearing a fall at 75 often comes down to a handful of simple movements done consistently. Not complicated gym routines, not heavy weights. 5 straightforward exercises that can rebuild stability, restore power, and protect your independence. Most men focus on their arms, or they think walking alone is enough. It isn't. And at the end, I'll show you the one movement that changes everything, the one most doctors never even mention. But before I show you how to strengthen your legs, you need to recognize the early warning signs your body may already be giving you. You've probably noticed it in small, almost dismissible moments. That slight heaviness in your legs when you stand up from a chair. That pause before you take your first step, as if your body needs a second to catch up. That moment when you reach the stairs and instinctively grab the railing, not because you have to, but because it feels safer. Maybe your walking pace has slowed without you deciding to slow it. Maybe you've turned quickly in the kitchen or the garage and felt a brief wobble, a flicker of imbalance that passes just as fast as it arrived. And underneath it all, there's something you don't say out loud, a quiet awareness of falling. Not panic, just caution. This is not your imagination. And it is not simply getting older. In my clinic, the first complaint isn't pain. It's, I just feel weaker. After 60, muscle mass declines more rapidly, especially in the quadriceps and glutes, the very muscles that lift you from chairs and carry you upstairs. But here's the part most men misunderstand. It isn't just muscle shrinking. It's the communication between your nerves and your muscles weakening too. That breakdown is what makes movements feel uncertain. The good news is that this decline is not inevitable, and I've seen men your age completely turn this around. I want to tell you about 2 men same age, both in their early 70s. The first was 72. He noticed the weakness. He mentioned it casually once or twice, then brushed it off. He stopped taking the longer walks, avoided stairs when he could. One rainy afternoon, he slipped stepping off a curb. The fall led to a hip fracture. Surgery followed, then months of limited movement. His world quietly shrank after that. The second man was 74. He felt the same early heaviness in his legs, the same hesitation on stairs. But instead of ignoring it, he committed to a simple strength routine at home. Nothing dramatic, just targeted activation 3 days a week. Within months, his balance improved. A year later, he was hiking gentle trails with his grandson. The difference wasn't genetics. It wasn't luck. It was information and action taken early enough. Your body remains remarkably adaptable after 60. Muscle fibers can strengthen. Nerve pathways can reconnect. Stability can improve. You still have time. By the end of this, you will have the same roadmap that helped men like him rebuild their confidence. And once I understood what was really happening inside aging leg muscles, everything about prevention changed. For more than 2 decades, I've worked almost exclusively with men over 60. In my clinic, the complaints often begin subtly. Not dramatic injuries, not sharp pain. Just a quiet sentence. I don't feel as steady as I used to. I've watched this pattern repeat again and again. Leg weakness shows up first, then balance changes. Then if nothing interrupts it, bigger health events follow. What research now clearly shows supports what I have seen firsthand. Studies on sarcopenia confirm that age-related muscle loss accelerates after 60, particularly in the lower body. Large population studies also link reduced grip strength and lower body strength with higher rates of hospitalization and even shorter lifespan. Strength is not cosmetic. It is protective, I remember a 68-year-old man who came to me frustrated that he needed both hands on the railing to climb the stairs in his own home. We started a focused, simple program. 12 weeks later, he walked into my office smiling. "I'm taking the stairs without thinking about it," he said. Nothing extreme, just targeted consistency. My frustration has never been that men can't improve. It's that too many wait until after a fall. And when I understood why this weakness develops so predictably, everything shifted. To understand why these exercises work, you need to understand what aging is really doing to your leg muscles. Let me explain what is actually happening inside your legs, because once you understand this, the solution makes sense. The medical term is sarcopenia. It simply means age-related muscle loss. But that phrase doesn't capture the full picture. This isn't just muscle getting smaller. It's muscle fibers shrinking, especially the fast-twitch fibers responsible for power-quick corrections and climbing stairs. Those are the fibers that catch you when you trip. They are the first to weaken. Think of your muscles like a powerful engine with multiple cylinders. When you're younger, all cylinders fire smoothly. After 60, some begin to misfire. Not because they're gone, but because the connection between your nerves and your muscles, called the neuromuscular junction, becomes less efficient. The signal weakens. The response slows. After 60, this process accelerates. Testosterone and growth hormone decline gradually, which affects your ability to maintain and rebuild muscle tissue. Add inactivity, even small reductions in daily movement, and the cycle compounds. Less movement leads to weaker nerve signaling. Weaker signaling leads to instability. Instability makes you move less, and the decline quietly speeds up. But here's the key. Those muscle fibers are not permanently lost. The communication lines can be strengthened. Your body still responds to stimulus even in your 70s, and this is where daily movement changes everything. The right kind of progressive activation tells those misfiring cylinders to come back online. Now that you understand the mechanism, let me show you the 5 exercises that directly interrupt this decline. These 5 movements work together. Do all 5, but number 1 is critical. Start here. Build momentum and stay with me. Exercise 5 is the seated to stand repetition. Simple but powerful. You sit in a firm chair, feet flat, and stand up without using your hands, then sit back down under control. This activates your quadriceps and glutes, the primary drivers of stair climbing and getting up from low surfaces. After 60, glute inhibition is common. The muscles are there, but they're not firing efficiently. That's why standing feels heavier than it used to. Perform 10 controlled repetitions, rest briefly, and complete 3 sets daily. Don't underestimate how effective this is. Within weeks, your legs begin remembering their job. Exercise 4 is the heel raise. Holding the back of a chair for balance, slowly rise onto your toes, pause, and lower with control. Your calves and ankles are your body's shock absorbers. They stabilize you with every step. Ankle weakness is one of the strongest predictors of falls in older adults. After 60, those stabilizers weaken quietly. 15 repetitions, 2 or 3 sets at least 5 days a week. Most men skip this because it seems too basic. It isn't. Strong calves protect you. Exercise 3 is the wall sit hold. Back against a wall, knees bent to a comfortable angle, hold for 20 to 30 seconds. This builds endurance fibers in your thighs, the fibers that keep you steady during longer walks. Endurance declines rapidly with age, even faster than strength. 1 or 2 holds daily is enough to begin rebuilding stamina. And we're just getting started. And what we're about to cover next is even more important than what we've discussed so far. Take a breath with me for a moment. You now have 3 movements that already begin rebuilding strength in your thighs and calves. That alone puts you ahead of most men your age. But stay with me, because what comes next matters even more. The next 2 exercises activate stabilizing muscles that almost no one talks about. These are the muscles that catch you when you stumble, that steady you when you turn too quickly, that determine whether a slip becomes a scare or a serious injury. If you've ever felt unsteady for just a split second, if you've ever reached for a wall or countertop without thinking, this part is for you. The final movement targets the muscle group most responsible for preventing sideways falls, the kind that lead to broken hips. This could change your next decade. Let's move into the exercises that truly separate strong men at 75 from fragile ones. Now we move into the movements that truly determine stability. Exercise 2 is the supported step-back lunge. Stand tall, lightly holding a chair or countertop. Step 1 foot back, lower your body a few inches, then press through the front heel to return. 8 controlled repetitions on each leg is enough to begin. This targets your hip stabilizers, especially the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for keeping your pelvis level when you walk. When you trip or misstep, these muscles fire to pull you back into alignment. If they are weak, your body sways sideways. After 60, hip weakness becomes one of the leading contributors to sideways falls, the kind that fracture hips. This is where men separate themselves. One path leads to avoiding movements like this because they feel uncomfortable. The other leads to practicing them carefully, building control week by week. The first path quietly increases risk. The second steadily restores confidence. Now, exercise 1 in this sequence before our final reveal is the single leg balance hold. Stand near a wall or sturdy surface. Lift one foot just an inch off the floor and hold for 30 seconds. Then switch sides. It sounds almost too simple. It isn't. This movement reconnects your nervous system to your muscles. It forces the neuromuscular junctions we discussed earlier to fire clearly and repeatedly. Reaction time improves. Micro-adjustments sharpen. After 70, balance declines sharply if it is not trained directly. Walking alone does not challenge it enough. Hold for 30 seconds per side once or twice daily. If needed, keep a fingertip on the wall at first. Improvement often comes faster than men expect. One path leads to accepting wobbliness as inevitable. The other leads to reclaiming steadiness one small hold at a time. But there is one more movement that ties all of this together, and it's the one almost every man avoids. Clinical trials show that resistance training, even using only body weight, can significantly reverse markers of sarcopenia in adults over 65. Muscle fibers increase in size, strength improves, functional performance like stair climbing and chair rising measurably recovers. Researchers found that consistent lower body strength training reduces fall risk by improving balance coordination and reaction time. Some studies report fall reductions of up to 30% in older adults who engage in structured strength routines. That is not a small number. This isn't theory. Large population data consistently link stronger leg muscles with greater independence and even longer lifespan. Lower body strength is one of the most reliable predictors of whether someone can live independently into their late 70s and 80s. Compound movements like squats also stimulate short-term hormonal responses, including increases in growth-related signals that support muscle repair. You don't need heavy barbells to access this effect. Progressive bodyweight training is enough. What I have described to you is not extreme. It is straightforward physiology applied consistently. So the question now isn't whether this works. It's whether you will begin. Let me bring this together clearly. Leg strength is not about appearance. It is about independence. It is about whether you move through your home with confidence or hesitation. It is about whether you rely on railings or barely notice the stairs at all. Start today. Not tomorrow morning. Not next week. Today. Stand up from a chair and perform 10 controlled sit-to-stands. That is your first step. Then before this weekend, schedule 3 short sessions where you move through all 5 exercises we discussed. Put it on your calendar as you would any appointment that matters. Every inactive week after 60 allows decline to continue quietly. Muscle fibers do not pause their loss out of politeness. They respond to stimulus or they shrink. Picture 2 men watching this right now. One nods, agrees it makes sense, then closes the video and carries on unchanged. 6 months from now, his stairs feel steeper. The other begins with 10 repetitions today. 6 months from now, he stands taller, steadier, stronger. Even after 60, your body has a remarkable capacity to adapt when challenged correctly. And this isn't just about stronger legs. It's about the kind of man you choose to be from this point forward. You are not the kind of man who ignores warning signs and hopes they disappear. You have lived too much life for that. You have worked, built, provided, endured. The idea of slowly surrendering your strength without a response does not sit well with you. Aging is real. Bodies change. Recovery takes longer than it once did. I will never pretend otherwise. But it is not too late. I say that not as encouragement, but as clinical fact. Muscle tissue can respond in your 70s. Balance can improve. Stability can be rebuilt. You're not alone in this. Thousands of men your age are quietly deciding that the next decade will not be defined by decline, but by deliberate action. They are choosing to defend their independence before it is taken from them. Picture yourself at 80 climbing the stairs in your own home without gripping the railing, walking outside with confidence, standing tall in photos with your grandchildren. That future is shaped by small decisions made now. If this spoke to you, stay connected. Subscribe, join this community, and continue learning how to protect your health intelligently. Strength is a decision, and you can make it starting today.